Alright then gang, so far we have looked at Codex Cloud to run tasks remotely, Code Review to review code changes in pull requests on GitHub, and the Codex CLI to work locally on a project. Now I want to look at the fourth Codex tool, which is the Codex IDE extension, and that can be plugged into VS Code, Cursor, Windsurf, and VS Code Insiders. And this extension is very much in the same vein as something like the Copilot extension for VS Code, where you have a more visual interface to chat with the AI and fire off code changes. But under the hood, it basically has the same functionality as the CLI tool in that it allows us to work locally on a project with Codex. And again, at the time of recording, it's marked as experimental for Windows. Now, I've used it on both a Mac and Windows, and aside from the occasional jitter and some problems with MCP servers, I've not had any other major problems using it on Windows. That much being said, I feel like the experience definitely feels smoother on a Mac, and for some of the next few videos, I'll be switching to my Mac for the recordings. Just be aware that this is still considered experimental on Windows. So then, let's go back to the code and start using the Codex extension. The first thing you need to do is search for the extension, and I would search for OpenAI Codex, because if you just search for Codex on its own, then a bunch of other extensions come up first. So it's this one right here that you want to install. Once you've done that, you should see the OpenAI logo over here, which you can click on to open the Codex panel. Now, when you first do this, you're going to need to log into your ChatGPT account, much like we did with the Codex CLI. And if you click on this button, it's going to take you to a sign-in page where you can do that. So I'm just going to sign into my account off screen. Once I've done that, we should see a little onboarding sequence inside this panel. So I'm just going to click on next for all of these until we finally get to the chat screen, and it's from here that we can either start chatting with Codex or setting it to work on the code. So we've got the chat window right here where we write any prompts. We've also got a couple of buttons down here to control context, which we'll see later. At the bottom, we can also select the mode and toggle between the same three options we saw in the CLI, which is agent mode for the project edits, chat mode just for chatting, and then agent with full access, including the internet and files outside of the project. We're going to select chat for now, just so we can ask Codex a question in a moment. We've also got these other drop-down options, which I'm going to talk about over the next few lessons. Up at the top, we should see a list of any recent tasks we've run on Codex Cloud as well, which is a nice touch. And if you click on one of those, you'll see that task here inside the extension. Now, if I was to write something in this task and hit enter, it would actually send that reply up onto Codex Cloud and work remotely again. But we're not going to do that right now. Instead, I want to come back to the regular chat window and work locally. So then, same as ever, we're going to start off by asking Codex about the project. And the prompt can be something like, can you give me a quick summary of what this project is? So when we hit enter, we should see that Codex starts looking through the project and gathering information. Now, I actually really like the UI of this chat window and the way that Codex responds with these bullet points when you ask it to do something. And you can expand some of them as well to see what Codex is doing or thinking under the hood, which again is nice. Okay, so it looks like Codex has finished working now, and we can see this summary it's provided. So it's looking at the home route first of all, the hero CTA, that's the call to action. We have a popular pairs list, etc. We have the pair creation page at this route. It's got some client-side validation on the form, blah, 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 blah. We have a shared layout, and we have styling that leans on Tailwind v4. And also we use vtest as well for testing. So yeah, it looks like it's gathered all the main points of the application. I'm not hugely keen on how it's presented it as a summary in terms of the language it's used. It's not very conversational or anything like that. However, that's just a personal preference, but it knows what everything is at least. Okay, so now let's try asking Codex to make some changes. I want to make a reusable modal component, which I want to show when the user submits the form correctly with no errors. So the first thing I'll do is create a new branch and do all of the work on that new branch. And I'm going to do that by running the command git switch, then use the C flag to create the branch, and I'm going to call it feature/modal. Once I've done that, I'm going to go back to the Codex chat panel, and I'm going to paste in a little prompt which says, Can you make a reusable modal component complete with a semi-transparent backdrop? The modal should be white and allow content to be passed in via a slot. Clicking on a cross should trigger the modal to close. Can you then show the modal with a success message when a user submits the new pair form with no validation errors? Now, in order for Codex to work on the code, we also have to change the mode down here from chat to agent. All right, so it looks like it's worked now. It's created that reusable modal and it's wired it up to the new pair form. And down here, you can see in detail the different edits and the different files it's created. And then at the bottom, it said it's run these tests as well. It also created that test file. Now, I will say one thing, this was quite slow and it's been one of the slowest I've experienced it while I've been using Codex. And I think that is to do with the model it's using right here, which is GPT-5 Codex on medium reasoning. Now, we're going to talk about reasoning a little bit later on, but this is a relatively new model at the time of recording this video. So what I'm going to actually do is switch this to GPT-5 medium for the rest of these videos, because I find that to be a lot quicker for the kind of simple tasks that I'm going to be giving Codex to do. I do still think, though, that this Codex 5 model right here, or rather GPT-5 Codex model, is really good for slightly more complex coding tasks. I will say that. But for the sake of this course, we're going to keep it on the GPT-5 standard medium model. All right, so let's have a look at the changes that it's made. So if we go into components, we can see that new modal file right here. And if we scroll down, we can see this modal, and the template is going to be right down here somewhere. There it is. Okay, so that's the modal, and then it created a test file as well right here. It also updated the CSS and the new pair form so that it's going to show that modal when we submit it. And there is the modal right here. So let's preview this now in a browser. All right, so I've already entered in some data into this form. I'm just going to create this and hopefully we will see a modal now, which we do right there. So it looks okay. And if we click on the close button right here, hopefully it's going to close as well. Yeah, it does. Now, I also want to test that it doesn't show when we don't have the form filled in correctly. And yep, we don't have that modal now because we've not filled in these details. But if we fill these in again, then hopefully, yeah, it does show. Awesome.